Bonjour relatives, Shangwewe Kamigu Queen Indigenous Cause. I'm Jamie Kellicutt with HIR Wellness Institute, and you are here with us live for Emotional Sobriety. It is Friday, yay Friday! It is Friday, and every Friday we come together so that we can wrap up our week and that we can get ready for our weekend. We come together creating safety together. All of us here, and we'll introduce ourselves. I'll make sure that we all are able to tell you who we are. But we are here every Friday to be able to talk about recovery, to talk about walking the red road, be able to talk about healthy coping skills and how we're feeling during this time of COVID-19, and to have a reminder for you that this is not going to last forever, and that we do have skills already within us that we are able to utilize to help us through tough times, to help us through this moment of COVID-19. I'll remind us before we really get into it, remember that box that we've talked about? We can put this time period into that box. There's a beginning and an end, and it will come to an end at some point. And so what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna get our smudge ready, and I would love it if I pass it over to Xavier, and if you could introduce yourself and let our relatives know who you are.
Yes, absolutely. Happy Friday, relatives. It's so good to be here. As always, I look forward to this every Friday. Again, my name is Xavier Smart, cares counselor, community healer here at HIR Wellness Institute. And, we're so honored, so appreciative to be able to just come together every Friday, where we can talk about how we can cope and deal with recovery, and especially during this time of COVID-19 and so much uncertainty and so much worry. So we're so honored and so blessed to just be here to provide a space where we can just connect, as Jamie said, and bring, just some healing practices and remind you all of the gifts that you already have within you to bring out that healing. So just appreciate you all. And with that, I am going to pass to John.
Thank you so much, Xavier. And hi, relatives. My name is John. I am a social work intern at HIR Wellness. And again, I'm just so happy to be here on every single Friday. With you. And thank you for joining us every Friday, relatives. We just appreciate you joining with us and sharing. I will be moderating in the comment section. So if you see someone typing in there, that is me. And then Xavier and Jamie will also help look for comments as well. So just feel free to let us know how you're feeling. And again, we will recognize you and communicate back with you. So definitely appreciate everyone who joins us on a weekly basis. And we're here to help demonstrate what a virtual group would look like. So thank you again for joining us.
Thank you both. Thank you, Xavier. Thank you, John. Let's take just a moment to ground ourselves so we can start off in a good way. I have our smudge going. And here's some smudge for you, for both of you, and for all of you out there who's watching. As we smudge today, and maybe you have some at home, go ahead and use your smudge. Get that ready. Have your sacred medicines with you. I always have my smudge. I always have my eagle feather with me. Sometimes I have my tobacco pouch with me to help. For me, I lay tobacco when I'm wanting to pray, when I'm wanting to be out in nature, talking with Great Spirit, talking with my ancestors. And you can bring that into this space. This is a space where you can bring that. And we hope that you do. And so as we get ready to start today for emotional sobriety, just take a moment, and just center yourself, Think about one thing that brought you a smile today. One thing. And it can be anything at all. What brought you a smile? And if you're feeling up to it, we would love to hear what that was, that one thing that happened. At any time today, you can comment, leave a comment. For me, the one thing that made me smile was seeing my youngest son sitting in the kitchen at the table doing his work for school. Xavier, would you be comfortable telling us one thing that made you smile today?
Yes. So the one thing that made me smile, made me happy today, was following through with my workout. It's something I wanted to do and push myself, and happy that I did it.
Oh, thank you for sharing that.
Mhm.
Thank you. How about you, Dom?
Yeah, one thing that made me smile today is just completing 2 things on like my to-do list. So that was definitely
Yeah,
an accomplishment.
that's awesome. That's great. Thank you for sharing that, John.
Hmm.
And like I said, relatives, if you feel like sharing, let us know. All we were doing there is just getting ourselves grounded, putting some intentions into what we're going to talk about, how we want to feel while we're all together. And another way that we do that, starting our time together, is our elders meditation. And today, Xavier, if you would be the one to read us the elders meditation for today, that would be wonderful.
Yes, absolutely. I would love to. So I will be reading our Elders Meditation of the day, January 8th. Native Americans are essentially calling for righteousness. By this, they mean a shared ideology developed by all people using their purest and most unselfish minds. And this was said by Lorraine Canoe, Tom Porter, Mohawk. The native way is to first focus on decisions that will be good for the people and then for yourself. Righteousness means to think right. Our way is to consider the good of all first. This helps our minds to be unselfish and pure. That is the spiritual way. This can be very hard to do because the world we live in says to take care of yourself first. A man of God cannot be taken advantage of unless it is the will of the Creator. The Creator really controls everything. To have a good future, the people must gather in a circle and pray for the highest good of the people. Great mystery. Today, let me love instead of being loved. Let me be giving instead of receiving. Show me the advantages of having a giving heart.
Hmm. That's beautiful. Thank you, Xavier.
Welcome.
Thank you. I wanted to show you all where that meditation comes from. It comes from a book that has been very important for me in my recovery called Meditations with Native American Elders, The Four Seasons by Don Coyes. And I've been walking the Red Road for 6 years now from alcohol. And that was something that I came across on my journey of healing was sobriety. And from there, I came across many other resources, Generation Red Road. I know that many people connect with AA. There is Smart Recovery. I'm trying to think of some other ones. That's all I'm thinking about right now. But there's many resources out there. And HIR Wellness Institute is one of those resources that you can come to if you are struggling with substance misuse. It might be just addiction altogether. Could be any sort of thing that is something that is a struggle, something that's been hard for you. And so this time right now, today, is for all of you. It's for all of you to be able to put down whatever that is, like whatever that is. For me, it was substance misuse. It was alcohol. That was weighing on me for a long time. And I was able to take that and put it down. I was able to release that. So this time that we're together, we are going to read out of a workbook that we use. And I'll show you real quick what that workbook is. And it's called Maintaining Emotional Sobriety During COVID-19, Transforming Trauma into Post-Traumatic Growth. And each week, we take a little bit out of that workbook and we talk about it. We process it a little bit. We come up with suggestions, or we tell each other what we've been doing, how that kind of relates to where we're at in life. And then we hope to hear from you too. Maybe there's something that you are thinking about or that you want to share. And if you do, if you feel comfortable with that, please leave a comment. And know that anything that you're thinking about, if something's tugging at you right now that says, I kind of think I want to say this, but you're maybe feeling a little scared about it, first I want to say it's okay. Next, I want to say that there's a reason that you're being tugged. There's a reason that your spirit is kind of pulling at you, or maybe nudging you a little bit, like, hey, yeah, you know about that. Speak up a little bit. Because you know what happens when you do speak up. That was something that needed to be said and needed to be heard by another individual. Another one of our relatives needed that in that exact moment. And I believe that 100%. I believe that. So thank you all again for being here. If this is your first time joining us, HIR Wellness Institute is a nonprofit who offers mental health and wellness services to Indigenous and underserved communities, and especially those who've been impacted by domestic violence, sexual assault, intimate partner violence, human trafficking, and MMIP, missing and murdered Indigenous people. We're here for you. We're here for you. And so we're going to take a little time to sort of reflect back on what we've been talking the last few weeks. And what we've really been discussing is, how do we create safety? So when we're talking about our recovery, or we're walking our healing journey, we all need safety. Everybody needs safety. And then we think about how we're in this time of COVID-19 and how maybe that's caused even more hard feelings. Maybe there's been a few more triggers that have happened. Or maybe you hadn't even noticed that you had triggers before, or weren't struggling with much of anything before COVID-19, and now you're kind of like, I don't know what's going on, but something's not feeling right. So we talk about, how do we create safety for ourselves? Because we're in this time period. We're in this COVID-19 time period, and it's not going to last forever. But we can work on things to help us through it, to get us onto the other side. We really can. And then we can start noticing that, oh my gosh, I'm working on all these different things, and I'm actually seeing the world differently. I'm actually feeling differently. I don't notice those triggers. Or if I do notice the trigger, actually, it'd be a good thing to notice the trigger and to feel it in your body. I am noticing it, and I'm noticing it when it's about to happen, and I'm recognizing what that was that made me react in that way. And now I know how to do things a little differently, how to react to that. I know how to do it, and I'm okay with it. So there's a lot of great things that we're going to talk about. But today, I'm going to read just a little bit about creating safety. It's very important to be proactive and institute the kinds of buffering basics into your day that keep you resourced, that reduce stress, and build resilience. The supports that put you in place now can serve as safeguards to alleviate or lessen some of the unusual stress that could become cumulative. Setting up a schedule, a support network, and recovering a sense of safety, personal space, and quiet can help you to avoid falling into the kinds of problems that could worsen over time. So that's true. And so what are we going to do? There are some practical ways that we can create safety for us. And each week we've been talking about a few more and giving examples on what that looks like and how we do that in our own lives. And then we share with each other and we talk about that. And earlier, John mentioned that we're also modeling what would a support group look like, a virtual support group, if we had one for emotional sobriety. Because that's the goal. One day we would love to be able to come together in a private Zoom circle and have a support group with one another where we meet each week and we talk about these things in a private way. So here are some practical ways. And John, I would love it if you could read for us a couple of those.
Yeah, so relatives for the first one that I'm going to read, it states, play music, dance, be playful. Play is a great stress reliever and a wonderful way to bond with family and friends. So I love that one so much. Because that one, music helps us heal in so many different ways. And so does dancing. Again, I don't know the science behind all of that and how the brain works. Xavier might know more, but again, for me, dance and music, even if you can't dance, just, it's just a way of moving, just a rhythm and stuff like that, and just feeling the music, that really helps change your mindset. And for me, whenever I feel stressed out, I listen to, positive songs or music, and sometimes, something a little bit more soothing or slower helps me out a lot. So definitely that's one way that helps me relax, especially during this time. I listen to more positive music, especially during this COVID, because it can be so depressing at times. And it's so appreciated that, you have the music to really help you. And sometimes you can just go for a walk and just listen to music. Something so simple like that, just getting out and listening to music. And that can kind of take your mind off of whatever is going on for just that moment. And it really helps you ground yourself back, which is so important for us to especially ground ourselves during this COVID time, because I know many of us, our mind starts racing about everything and anything. And like what Jamie mentioned earlier, creating that box and understanding that this pandemic is not going to last forever. It's just temporary. So just understanding that, and playing music and dance is just one way that can really help somebody, especially during this time. And I would love to pass it on to Jamie, just because I know she loves music, and see what she has to say.
I do love music. Thank you, John. Thank you for reading that, and thank you for sharing all those thoughts. Really, thank you for bringing that into this space. You are absolutely right. Music is healing. Dance is healing. For me, there is something very spiritual that happens when I am performing music. It is like I transform or trans something. I do something. I go somewhere. I go somewhere that's not here necessarily. But there is a connection to the rhythms, and it's, for me, it's always been such a beautiful thing. And to be able to write, like I like to write songs. And that I connect to journaling, I connect that to poetry, I connect that to just even the physical act of taking a pen or pencil or marker or whatever it is and putting it to paper and taking those thoughts that I'm having and writing them down. I'm getting them from here, taking them out of here, and I'm putting them onto paper. It's like a way of release. It's like a release for me. It's like it's no longer here. If it was something that was troubling me, I've released it. I've put it onto paper. And then I can just leave it alone for a while if I want, or I could go back to it if I wanted to. The ability to express yourself in a creative way is so healing. It's like you're connecting to your true spirit And we've talked about our true source or our true spirit many times. But when you get there, when you get to that spot, that place, you feel it throughout all of your body. And it just does, it's almost like I don't have the right words to explain what that feels like. But it absolutely is. Even just being able to be in your kitchen and listen to some music and just dance around. And John's right, you don't have to know how to dance, or you don't even have to know how to sing. Just let it out.
Mm-hmm.
I, for years, would say, I really believe that this world would be a better place if every single human would sing and dance. Doesn't matter what you sound like, what you look like, anything. Just sing and dance. We'd have a better place. We really would. There is so much joy and healing that's in there. And so thank you for bringing that into this space, John, and for asking me. That's what I'm thinking about as you read that.
And then what about you, Xavier? What did you think about it?
Yeah, I love this one. I love music. I don't know. I'm not a musician. Well, I used to play a trumpet back in the day.
Oh,
But I absolutely love music, and for me, I just love putting on headphones and just letting the music take me wherever it needs to take me. Sometimes you need those sad, slow songs to facilitate a release, and that's 100% okay, relatives. Oftentimes I found, if there's something building inside of me, and I want to cry but can't cry, or there's something that just needs to be released, music has definitely allowed me to release it. It can even be it doesn't have to necessarily be sad, but it can be anything. If there's some music that's like you got aggression that you need to kind of just get it out, music can help get that out as well. And then in terms of dancing, I think that is, just the core of who we are as beings. Music and dance it just goes hand in hand. And when you think about music and dance, it's truly one thing that can bring everyone together, regardless of your beliefs, background. Music has a way of really just uniting us as people, and just connecting with our spirits, right? So, I think it being able to find time to allow yourself and give yourself permission to just dance and just be free. It creates this sense of freedom. One of my favorite things to do is just dance around my house in my socks and just slide across my floor and just have fun, because it's so freeing, and it just feels, again, it can let out a lot of that release that you may be holding in. That may be one way to allow you to just kind of let it go. If there's other ways that you can't really think of, right? Just allow yourself, give yourself permission. And I know, with COVID, it's kind of hard to culturally speaking, go to powwows and, attend anything, right? So even in that sense, just give yourself permission to just dance, right? Dance in the house, and allow yourselves to go there, have a little dance party with the kids, and just make it, this fun little thing, right? That we can all connect, create community. But music and dance, I think, is just so powerful in itself, and has a great way of uniting us. And it's something that we can even do virtually, have a virtual, party. The lyrics may be a little off, but it's okay. It'll make it funny. It'll create some fun, some silliness, which is definitely needed, right? To create some joy. So, those are just a few ways we can just kind of tap into the dance and creative side during COVID, and this not emotional, but this physical distancing. So those are my thoughts. That's my favorite thing, music and dance.
Yeah, thank
and
you.
I just wanted to thank you, Xavier. I'm sorry, John. I just had one little comment to make. because you made me think of you reminded me, Xavier, of an experience I had that was so healing to watch. So I was at Indian Summer Festival one year, and one of the bands that played there all the time had one, there was many people, like hundreds of people watching this band, and they had everyone in the audience, they kept asking people to get into a big circle and hold hands as they were playing music. And they had hundreds of people holding hands and then like dancing in a big, huge circle. And they just went all around this whole area. And it was the most beautiful thing that I ever seen. And I was standing there videotaping it, and I was with my daughter, one of my daughters, and she's like, Mom, come on, let's go. And for some reason, I was like intimidated and I didn't want to go. And she was like, well, I'm going. And so I watched my daughter run off and to just hold hands with complete strangers. And they were just all so joyful. And they were just like jumping and running all in a big circle. And this song was just so powerful. I can't remember what it was, the song, but just the imagery. And you could feel the energy of all these people coming from different places, coming together to hold hands, to express themselves through music and through dance. And it was like, it brought tears to my eyes. I was standing there videotaping, crying, like watching this whole thing go down, because it was really beautiful. And that's the power of music and dance. It really is. People from everywhere across the entire globe can come together in a really loving and joyous way and heal together through music and dance.
Thank you so much for sharing, Jamie and Xavier. And I just wanted to add, relative, like something for me, I love listening to music while cooking. Um, I don't know, I feel like the cooking is just like the rhythm, and then also the music as well. And then I also, I don't know, act crazy and dance while cooking. I don't know, it just kind of helps me
Yeah.
relax. For me, it's just the combination of everything, and music is the one that's leading all of that at the end of the day, and it's so soothing. And again, music can be played on everyday activity that you're doing. And even if it's just in the background, you don't really necessarily have to be listening to it, but it can be so powerful at the same time, even as a background noise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the next part that we're going to read is self-soothe. And it states, watch uplifting videos. They give us a shot of serotonin. Take a hot bath to get a shot of prolactin. Self-soothe. And again, I love this one so much because it's talking about self-soothing and being kind to yourself, especially during this time, or like when you're not feeling okay, just being kind to yourself and just taking care of yourself, like watching uplifting videos. If you're feeling down, watching something that's more, funny, or something that's more positive, because when you're watching something like that, it changes your mindset. And sometimes even self-soothing, it's like, just taking a warm bath and just sitting there and relaxing, and maybe reading a book can be very soothing and stuff like that. Or if you're having like tense muscle, just doing simple stretches. And one thing that we do a lot um, at HIR Wellness is we love deep breathing. So even deep breathing is such a great time to utilize, especially for self-soothing, especially when you're feeling anxious or having a lot of tension, or feeling depressed. Just to soothe. It's just so soothing when you're doing that deep breathing and just taking a deep breath in and then just exhaling, and just taking that moment for yourself, and just being kind, especially during this time or when you're not feeling okay. And there's other ways, such as like, even like, for me, I'm a huge essential oil person. Uh, so I love like essential oils and diffusers and stuff like that. Even just a sense of smell, the aromatherapy and stuff like that really helps soothes me down, especially if I'm feeling a little anxious, or if I'm, a little bit energetic and wired up and just thinking all over the place and stuff like that. So that really helps me out a lot. And again, just listening to music is also another great way for self-soothing. Um, and then Xavier, I would love to hear what you have to say about, self-soothing.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for sharing, John, and taking the time to read that as well. Um, yeah, self-soothing, I think is so important just to touch on, especially right now dealing with COVID and um, also trying to navigate, walking the red road, right? Often, if we think about it, and old habits, right, may have been to self-soothe by drinking or picking up whatever that substance was. So now it's like, okay, what am I don't know how to self-soothe. So for some of us relatives, this might be a completely new thing that we're like, I don't even know how to self-soothe. I don't know what that looks like, right? And being in that space is definitely okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to be in a space of I don't know, but being able to bring that to the awareness and just say like, I'm that's where I'm at, and I'm okay with that. And for you being able to tune into something like this Facebook Live is essentially self-soothing, right? If you think about it, it's allowing and giving yourself permission to um just navigate and find new ways, new routines to deal with some of the stressors, deal with some of the anxiety, the urges to use, right? You're like, no, let me tune into something else. Let me tune into this emotional sobriety. Let's see what this thing is all about. And that gives you that permission, right, to create just a newness. So I just wanted to point that out, and touch base on
Mm-hmm.
that aspect, because this is, I think, just such an important, and very very prominent just way to create safety is being able to self-soothe. And I know for me personally, something that I enjoy a nice warm bath. It's literally the best thing ever to be intentional and to say like, hey, I'm going to take this time and give myself some self-compassion, is
Mm-hmm.
such a empowering thing to do. And it gives you that permission to begin to take back your power, to take back your spirit and who you are, um, as you continue just navigating your life experiences, navigating, walking the red road, right? So yeah, that's something that I personally like to do, and it's hard, right, to find things. It's hard to create a new system, a new way of thinking, but there once you can continue that rhythm, that pattern, creating that rhythm and pattern, um you begin to see that change, and you're like, oh, I am honoring myself. I am shifting how I'm thinking about things. I am shifting away from choosing my substance, right? So yeah, that's just my thoughts on self-soothing. So thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, thank you so much for sharing, Xavier. And then I would love to hear your thought too, Jamie.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Thanks for sharing that, Xavier. That was great. Thank you, John. Yeah. You know what I think about when I heard you talking about self-soothing and reading that and then hearing both of your thoughts, I think about self-love, and I think about how a lot of times it's really hard for us to realize or to be able to be okay with recognizing that we deserve love, that we deserve it ourselves, that a lot of times I don't know, we go through life and we're constantly helping others, or maybe we feel kind of guilty if we take time for ourselves or when we do take time, and not realizing until somebody tells us one day that, wait a minute,
Mhm.
you need that.
Yeah.
You need that self-care. You need that self-soothing. You need self-love. that yes, absolutely. And I can understand how it can be almost feel like contradictory to what our meditation was earlier, right? So our meditation tells us to think of our community first, and we absolutely do. And in order to keep being able to show up for our community and to be able to do great things for our community and to help heal our community, we also have to self-soothe. We also have to take care of us, take care of ourselves, take care of our heart and our spirit, our mind, our body. We have to, because otherwise what happens? We're giving all of us everything, and then how did we ever replenish what we gave? And so I think sometimes that's hard for us to talk about and to think about in that way, because we want to be able to be there for our community, and we want to be able to think of the collective. And I see it as we are thinking of the collective, because if all of us are taking care of us ourselves, not in a selfish way, because that's not selfish. It's not selfish to love yourself. It's not selfish to want to be able to take a nap, because maybe that's what your body needed or your mind needed. It's not selfish if you go for a walk by yourself because you just want to clear your mind. That's not selfish. That's self-love. And so we need that to be able to continue to work with and think about the collective. Because how would that look if we were always just running and going forward and giving all of our love away, but then not ever giving it to ourselves? And so that's what I kept thinking about. And I remember being young and not really knowing what self-love was, and not really knowing that I deserved it, and that I deserved respect, that I was worthy of love and respect, and that I should be giving that to myself. I didn't learn that. And so I'm glad that was something that we talked about today, because I think that there's others out there that need to hear that you deserve, that you're worthy of that self-love, that self-soothing. Some of these words are so hard for me to say. You know, when you like say a word and then you say it so many times, it starts to
You
sound
forget,
strange.
yeah.
Like a tongue twister after a while.
Yes. Yes. So thank you, John. Thanks for asking for our thoughts.
Yeah, thank you both for sharing. And I just wanted to mention relatives. I know that, especially during this time, for anyone who's struggling with like substance abuse, just having so much on your plate. Maybe you have kids that are home now, and just that additional stress and everything going on. It's just so important to have that self-soothe. And like what Jamie said, it's about self-caring, loving yourself, especially during this time. So just wanted to remind everyone, because I know that oftentimes there's always that one person who's always been the caretaker for everyone, and they forget about themselves. And we just wanted to remind you that, in order for you to really take care of others, you have to take care of yourself as well. And you have to be kind to yourself. So it's just so important. And I'm glad that we are talking about this topic, because I don't think many people, they know about it, but they don't think about it. So it's just a good reminder, and just good importance to remember that you are important, and that you have to take time for yourself as well.
Yeah.
And then, and then the last one that we will be reading states, maintain an attitude of great gratitude. Take notice of what's going right, and think about it over and over again. Affirm what is beautiful in life. Rest in gratitude. And I love this one as well. And that's one thing that I always try to work on, relatives, is just being grateful, even for the little things in life. Because oftentimes people, when they think of what am I grateful for, they think about, well, it's something major that has to happen for you to be grateful for something. But in reality, it's so simple as just waking up in the morning, or just having a job, because many people are out of a job right now, especially during this COVID pandemic. So just something so simple like that. And oftentimes people don't realize of, wow, other people don't have this, because it seems so normal to you. But it's just being grateful for the little things, and then it adds up. And always reminding yourself about positive things that is going on. And one way for me, I love what it talks about, how thinking about it over and over again, going back to, like, I'm grateful for this. Or for me, I love journaling, and just every single day at the end of the day, or midday, if you want to, you can always journal, like, what am I grateful for, and just kind of reflecting back on that, because it's so important to redirect those negative thoughts, because every single day, you have so many negative thoughts that's going on. And it's just taking that time to yourself and just readjusting that thought process and be like, well, out of every single thing that's so negative today, there is some positive, and I'm going to focus on that instead of all of the negatives. So I love that so
Mm-hmm.
much. And journaling is just one technique. I'm a huge poetry person. I love writing poetry. And I know that Jamie loves writing lyrics and songs and stuff like that too. So again, there's so many different ways for you to be grateful and changing that mindset. Because again, there's so much negativity going on nowadays, and just reshaping that thought and thinking about what am I grateful for is so important, especially after a long day. You're tired, you just want to lay down and not do anything for the rest of the night. Just taking that time and just be like, I'm grateful for even having a job. I came home after a long day of work, but I have a job, and just being grateful for that goes a long way. And then,
Mm-hmm.
Jamie, I would love to hear what you would like to share with us about maintaining attitude of gratitude.
Yes, I love that. Thank you, John. Thank you for reading that. You are so right. Gratitude. I feel like there's like two things that I always think about that are like really simple that we can start doing today. One is deep breathing, and two is gratitude, practicing gratitude. And when I started my journey of walking in recovery, when I was walking the red road, I didn't appreciate how powerful gratitude is, how powerful it is to just take a moment and to say to yourself, I am grateful that I sat down on this chair. It feels really nice to just sit here. I'm really grateful for that. I had no idea how powerful that is for our mind and for our overall well-being. And along my journey, I came across a YouTube video. It's a TED Talk, and it's called 365 Grateful Projects. And I watched this, and it's not that long. It's less than 15 minutes, I think. But it's a woman who decided to start working on a project where she was grateful for the whole year. She wanted to see what would happen after that whole year. And she actually used imagery for that project. So, and this is going to be great for you, Xavier, because Xavier is a photographer as well. And this woman decided out of her whole day, she was going every day of the year, so for 365 days. Let's say today's day one. She looked at her whole day and she said, what am I grateful for? She chose one thing and she took a picture of that. And then she put it in a book, like a scrapbook or a photo album, and she kept those images for every day of one thing that she was grateful for. And what it did is she started to know, she said at first, it was like, the regular standard things that we all say, like, I'm grateful to be alive. I'm grateful that I can use my hands. I'm grateful that I have food to eat. She would say things like that. And then she said after a few weeks, it started to seem like it was harder. She had to really think about, like, what am I grateful for? And so she really had to start digging in and really thinking about and reflecting on her life and her surroundings. And so all of a sudden she started noticing different things. She was looking at life differently. All of a sudden she would go for a walk and she would say, I'm grateful that I just saw 3 different kinds of green outside. I never even noticed that there's different shades of green on the trees and the bushes and, you know, all the leaves that I'm walking past. I never noticed that before. It was like her vision had changed. The way her mind was taking in all this information was changing. And then she got to a point where she said, I realized one day as I was standing in the kitchen, and I'm paraphrasing, because it's been a while since I've watched this video, but she was in the kitchen and she was watching her husband, and she said, I noticed that every day he would give me the largest slice of pie. And that just made her, it changed the way that she viewed their relationship, how she saw him. And she said she never noticed that before, but every day he would slice her off the largest pie and give that to her. And so, and it changed the way that they interacted with each other. And so gratitude, it helps us right away, but then it helps how we are interacting with people, the relationships that we're having. And it's just a really remarkable video. I recommend watching it if you have a chance. Yes, that's what I think about gratitude. It's absolutely amazing, and it's truly life-changing.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. I love that. Do you know what the clip is called? Or I don't know if you want to put it down into the comment section or something. I would love to watch it too. So.
Yeah, I will. Let me see if I can do that, because I will. Am I able to? Of course I can. I can do that.
Yeah, and
I'll post it in the comments.
Mm-hmm. And I just love what you said about how after a while she started challenging the little things about like, what am I grateful for? And then realizing the little things, and then you start to notice the little things that is going on. And it really changes your mindset once you really start doing it. Oh, I see it.
Yeah.
I see what you posted down there. And
good.
So feel free to check it out. Let us know. I will definitely be watching it too. And then Xavier, I would love to hear your perspective on that.
Yeah, thank you, Jamie, for being able to share that. That's super cool. That she was able to like take pictures as a photographer. That I think that's super cool. Never thought of that. So that's super cool. But something that was coming up for me as John read and as both Jamie and John explored was if we have the ability to think unhealthy and unhelpful thoughts, we also have the ability to think healthy thoughts. And I think, you know, that's something we often don't take into consideration, right? But also there's so many different factors that come into play in terms of, you know, how in terms of the thoughts that we have, right? There's the narratives that people have fed us, how we view ourselves, how society views us, how society may view your substance use, how your loved ones may view your substance use, and there's just so many different aspects, right? But really taking time out to notice one thing that you're grateful for, it can definitely shift and change mountains. Something that I like to do is listen to affirmations. There's so many on YouTube. They got so many different ones for different reasons, right? And I just like to put those on and just let them play while I doze off for bed, right? And it plays through the night. So, you know, that just allows my subconscious mind to kind of still take those in, right? So, you know, I wake up and I personally have noticed, right, a difference in the way that I see things, my perspective on, you know, myself, my perspective on others, being able to take time out to, yeah, express gratitude is so powerful. It's something that, again, I don't think is talked about very often, right? It's, as a society, it's this constant talk of always the negatives, or the quote unquote negatives, the bads. But there's when are we going to take the time out to spend some time focusing on the things that bring us joy, that bring us health? And I think that's so important just to talk about, touch base on. Um, yeah, yeah.
Thank you so much, Jamie and Xavier, both for sharing. And again, relatives, we would love to hear what you think about, what we just read through about playing music and dance and self-soothing. Feel free to let us know, what techniques works for you, relatives, for self-soothing, because what works for us doesn't always have to work for everyone. And, everyone has their own little ways of what works. So it's just more powerful when you share, because others who may be reading the comments later can always see and be like, wow, maybe I should try that technique. And even we read the comments later too, and we can see that, and we can add that to our toolkit, because again, we're
Mhm.
always adding to it. And the more is the better. So we can never have too many. And again, people are reading the comments even after Facebook Live is over. You can still rewatch the videos if you want to, and you can share with friends and family members. And we encourage everyone to comment and let us know, especially techniques that works for you, because again, everyone is so different, and just the more techniques, the better. And then also, maintaining attitude of gratitude, and just what are you grateful for? Feel free to share that with us. And
Mhm.
Jamie, I don't know if you want to wrap it up for us.
Well, sure. Thank you, John. John, thank you so much for all of your comments. Xavier, thank you for all of your comments. Just appreciate the both of you so much for bringing every week. You bring your amazing spirit and energy into this circle. And relatives, thank you so much for being here with us. We will be here again next week, Friday, about 4 o'clock-ish Central Standard Time. And we will be, next week, we're going to talk a little bit more about creating safety. We've got a couple more cool ideas for you. And it's just a great way for us to be able to come together, share a little bit, learn something new, maybe something new about recovery and how we're feeling. And I just want to challenge you all just a little bit that today, when we're done, just take a moment to sit with yourself. Take a moment, maybe close your eyes if you're comfortable with it. If you're comfortable. And just pay attention to how are you feeling? How's your body feeling? And if there's a little bit of anxiety there, practice some of the deep breathing that we've done before. Breathe in through your nose for 4 counts. Breathe out of your mouth for 6. Think about some happy thoughts. Think about one thing that you're grateful for. And as you're breathing in, breathe that one grateful thing into your heart, into your body, into your mind. And just sit with that for a while. Know that you are worthy, and that you are beautiful and amazing. And you are doing it. You're doing it. And that's wonderful. And that is something to celebrate. Today was a new day. Tomorrow will be a new day. We'll see you again on Friday. I'm sending all of you all kinds of love. Lots of love. And before we go, how about one word, one positive word that you're feeling right now? And so my positive word that I'm feeling right now is joy. Xavier, what is one positive word that you're feeling right now?
One positive word. I would say silly. Silly is a positive word. And also I
Good.
am feeling compelled to share a poem that I found
Oh,
with my relatives. Today I woke up and I was like, ooh, it all just came to me. So um, if you all wouldn't mind, we can, uh,
yes,
yeah. So can I,
yes.
as nervous as I am, it's all good. But I feel like, it's just, again, as Jamie stated earlier, sometimes we feel compelled to share things, and as scary as it may be, there's a reason that we may not know what the reason is, but someone may need to hear it. So I'll just read this really quick. Doesn't have a name. Okay.
And it doesn't, Xavier, it doesn't have to be really quick. You can breathe. It's okay. Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay. Today he feels some type of way, unable to find the words to say. The feelings are just too strong. Thinking about reverting back to the old ways, a drink to numb the pain, and a smoke to escape, fly high with the birds. Neglecting the things that fill his soul, that brings connectedness to the universe. He's becoming lost again, straying from his home. He's trying to hold on and fight, swinging frantically at whatever's in sight, but his eyes are closed and he's too afraid to open them. Hit with fear, he falls. He wobbles, legs unsteady, breathing heavy, his eyes now open. He finds the rope, a single sign of hope to get back up again. It's a constant battle, and you will be knocked down. But remember to look around, because there's always hope.
Mhm. Oh my goodness. Xavier, thank you so much. Thank you so much for reading that.
You're welcome. Thank you for
We
allowing.
needed to hear that. We needed to hear that today. Thank you.
You're welcome.
John, what is your one word of positivity that you're
Um,
sitting with?
I'm thinking of community.
Love it. Love it. Oh my goodness. This has been a really great time. Relatives, thank you so much again. We are HIR Wellness Institute. This is Emotional Sobriety live on Facebook. And we will be back next week, Friday, right about 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. You can always go back and watch the old Emotional Sobriety videos that we have. We also have a whole ton, hundreds of other videos that you could watch that can help you through your day. We have R&Rs with Malia Chow, Zentangle, Trauma Center, Trauma Sensitive Yoga, Wellness Friday, Wellness Weekend. Oh, there's so much good stuff. Children's Fire Book Club, Sensory Fitness with our occupational therapy interns. We've got a lot of resources out there. And if there's anything that you need, please just reach out to us and let us know. Again, thank you, Miigwech, and we will see you next week, Friday.